Coin.
Hey there, YouTube coin community. It's Dustin with CoinOp. Today, I wanted to do a video on my personal search list. Now, these are literally the errors and varieties that are the first things that I look for when I get a box of pennies from the bank, or I'm searching some rolls, or I got a big jug or a bag of pennies or a pile of pocket change. When I start searching, these are the first varieties that I look for. These are the most desirable and the most valuable. And then I also decided to include at the beginning the mint errors that you're gonna encounter every now and then. It's pretty rare to encounter mint errors, but when you do, there are particular ones that you will encounter more so than others. So I included them on this as well. Now, I will post at the beginning, before I start, my actual list. I'll have it printed up on the screen for you. And then at the very end, I'll have it come up again so you could just see what it is that I look for. So if you would like to, you can jot it down and have it fresh in your memory when you go to search your pocket change. So let's dive right on in. Okay, first of all, we are going to take a look at mint errors that you will encounter occasionally while you are coin searching. So every now and then, one of these errors will pop out while you are searching your rolls of coins or big jugs of change. So we're going to start with a clipped planchet. What a clipped planchet is while they are punching the planchet stock, which is what the coin is struck on, while they are punching it, sometimes the thin sheet of metal that they are being punched out of doesn't get punched far enough ahead, and it will cause the punch to overlap an already punched area, creating a curved clipped planchet. Now, there are also straight clipped planchets, and that's when the metal comes out of alignment and it strikes off the edge of the metal. And then towards the tail end of the planchet stock, if it doesn't get changed out fast enough, it will strike some of that, which will give you ragged clipped planchets. Now we are taking a look at a blank planchet. These are probably one of the more common ones that you will encounter. Blank planchets, they typically range in value with the Lincoln cents from just a couple bucks up to about $5. Now, blank planchets is very simply an unstruck coin. When the planchet is being fed into the die press, it's being fed very fast, and sometimes they will just get shot right on through and not get stamped. So you get a blank planchet. Now we are taking a look at an off-center Lincoln. This is when the planchet is not centered between the two coin dies in the coining press. So if the coin is fed into the press, it's not properly in its retaining collar, it can cause the coin to be struck off-center. And value on off-center Lincolns range anywhere from a few bucks upwards of $15. It all depends on how far off-center and if you can read the date or not. Okay, we are taking a look now at a brokerage error. This is when one coin is struck on top of another coin in the coining chamber. So if a coin gets struck and does not exit the coining chamber and another planchet gets fed on top of it and that gets struck, you will create this brokerage error. Occasionally you will find these. Typically they range in value anywhere from about $10 up to $100. It all depends on whether it's a full brokerage or a partial brokerage. Okay, now we are taking a look at some CUD errors. While you are coin searching, you will occasionally find a CUD error. All that a CUD error is a die break. When they are using the die press, the dies that is stamping the coins over time wear out and they will start to break away. When the die breaks away, it'll leave a big chunk of metal on the coin. The metal, when it stamps, it will flow into where the die has broken off. Now, if it breaks off along the rim, it is called a CUD error. cut errors can range anywhere in value from about $10 up to $80. It all depends on how bold and massive it is. Okay, now we are taking a look at a broad-struck Lincoln cent. Broad-struck coins are very simply coins that are struck without their retaining collar. When the die presses the coins, it is pressing with an extreme amount of pressure, and if the retaining collar is not there, it will cause the coin to balloon out and expand out. A Lincoln cent, you can find them expanded out larger than a nickel. Now these are broad strikes. Broad strikes typically range anywhere in value from a couple bucks upwards of about $20 to $25. It all depends on how big it is, how expanded out it actually is. Now, this is just a few examples of some of the mint errors that you can encounter. There are many other types of mint errors. These are some of the more common ones that you will encounter while you are coin searching. So do keep your eye out for these. All of these are pretty much naked eye visible. You can see these just while going through your change. You do not need a jeweler's loupe to see any of these mint errors. Okay, we are now going to take a look at some of the varieties that I like to search for. Now, this is the list of the dates that I separate by, and these are the very first things that I look for. Now, these that I'm about to show you are the most sought after and the most desirable varieties in the Lincoln cent series, and these are also the most valuable. These ones do hold some of the most value. So these are the number one things that I like to look for. We are going to start with the 1960 Denver Mint. Now, this is a large date, 1960 Denver Mint. This is a repunched mint mark. This one is listed as WRPM-001. Now, this is one of the boldest repunched mint marks in all of the modern Lincoln cent series. This is a very sought after repunched mint mark. This is actually one of the few repunched mint marks that I'm going to show you in this entire list. Now, this one is not extremely valuable, but it is extremely desirable. And if you do find one of these, they typically sell very, very quickly. Now, circulated examples can range anywhere from $1 upwards of $10, while uncirculated examples can range anywhere from $12 upwards of $30, and much more so for really nice high-grade uncirculated examples. Now we are taking a look at a 1960 Denver Mint Lincoln cent. Once again, this is a 1960 Denver Mint Lincoln cent. This one is listed as WDDO-001. This is a small date hubbing over top of a large date. So this was a small date that was hubbed over top of a large date. Now the hubbing can be seen on the date itself. It can also be seen on the motto and on Liberty. Now, the other thing with this one is this also features a repunched mint mark very, very high to the north. You can easily see this repunched mint mark. Now, if you happen to find one of these varieties, circulated examples typically range anywhere from $5 upwards of $30, and uncirculated examples typically range from $30 upwards of $150. Now we are taking a look at the coveted 1969S Double Die Adverse. This is the 1969S Lincoln cent. That is the Double Die Adverse DDO-001. This is one of the most popular double dies known in all of the U.S. coinage. This is by far one of the most popular in the Lincoln cent series, and it is also the most valuable double die in all of the modern Lincoln cent series. Now, this one, there are a little over 30 known examples. I believe right now there's around 32 known examples. Now, this double die features very, very strong doubling on the date, on Liberty, and on the motto, and well, basically the entire obverse or front of the coin. If you happen to find one of these, you do not need a jeweler's loupe to see this. You can easily see it with the naked eye. And if you are lucky enough to find one, circulated examples tend to range between 10,000 upwards of 30,000, and uncirculated examples range anywhere from 32,000 upwards of $126,000. Okay, now we are taking a look at a 1970S small date. This is a 1970S Lincoln Cent that features the small date. This is very easily confused with the large date. Now, to tell the difference between a small date and a large date, while you are looking at yours, the large date is going to feature a higher 1 and 9 than the 7 in the date. On a small date, the 1, 9, and 7 are going to be pretty much perfectly lined up, and the inside curve of the 9, the tip of that curve will point directly at the center of the 7. On a large date, the tip of the curve of the 9 is going to point down at the bottom of the 7. Now, if you do happen to find a small date variety, a 1970S small date, circulated examples tend to range between $1 upwards of $5, while uncirculated examples tend to range between $5 and $30. Okay, now we are going to move on. We are going to take a look at a 1971 double die adverse. This is listed as DDO-001. Now, on this variety, doubling shows very strong on the date and on liberty, and it is much more minor on the motto, but it is there. But it is the strongest on the date and, of course, on liberty. Now, if you happen to find one of these, circulated examples range anywhere from $30 upwards of $120, while uncirculated examples range anywhere from $150 upwards of $350. Now we are taking a look at a 1972 double die adverse. This one is listed as DDO-001. DDO-001. Now, this one is one of the most popular double dies in the Lincoln Cent series. Most people know of the 1969S double die adverse, they know of the 1955 double die, and they know of the 1972 double die adverse. Now, this is one of many double dies for the series, but this is the most popular and most sought after. Now, doubling can easily be seen. You do not need a jeweler's loupe to see it, but it can easily be seen on the date, on the motto, and on liberty. Now, if you happen to find one of these, circulated examples tend to range between $50 upwards of $175, while uncirculated examples tend to range between $200 upwards of $400. Now we are taking a look at a 1980 double die adverse. This one is listed as FS101. This is a 1980 double die adverse. Now, doubling shows on the date and on liberty, but it's the date in particular that you want to pay attention to. This is a beautiful double die, and I absolutely love this one. And if you happen to find one of these, circulated examples tend to trade between $20 upwards of $50, while uncirculated examples tend to trade between $60 and $150. Now we are taking a look at a 1982 double die reverse. This one is on a small date zinc variety. So this is only on the small date zincs. This is a 1982 double die reverse. This is listed as DDR-001. Now, this is extremely rare. Currently, there are only 4 known examples that have been verified. Now, this one does show very strong doubling on the entire reverse, but it is the strongest closer to the center. The further away from the center you go, the weaker it is. You can really easily see it on E Pluvius Unum. Now, if you are lucky enough to find one of these, currently estimated values on circulated examples are between $300 and $800, and uncirculated examples are $1,000 to $4,000. Now we are taking a look at a 1982 Denver Mint. This is the 1982D Denver Mint small date that weighs 3.1 grams. The 1982 Denver Mints should all weigh 2.5 grams. But if you happen to find one of these, it's a 1982 that is a Denver Mint that features the small date. Now you can tell the difference between the small date and the large date by taking a look at the 2 in the date. On the small date, the 2 is going to be thin and delicate, and there's going to be a curve where it meets the base of the 2. On a large date, the 2 is going to be thick and fat, and it's going to be straight down to the base of the 2. There's not going to be a curve. Now, currently there is only one known example, and that example sold for a little over $18,000 in auction. So if you do find one of these, estimated value is between $10,000 to $20,000. Now we are taking a look at a 1983 double die reverse. This one is listed as DDR-001. Now this is a really strong double die reverse, and this is one of the most popular and most sought after double die reverses in all of the Lincoln Cent series. People love this reverse double die. Now, if you happen to find one of these while you are searching, examples on this one, circulated ones tend to trade between $20 and upwards of $60, while uncirculated examples tend to trade between $75 and upwards of $200. Now we are moving on to the 1984 double die obverse. This one is listed as DDO-001. This is the 1984 double die obverse. This one is known as the double ear variety. Now there are many double ear varieties in the Lincoln Cent series, but this is the most popular one. Now doubling can easily be seen on the ear. There's clearly a second earlobe, and also on the neck and bow tie. Now, if you happen to find one of these examples, they tend to trade between $20 and $40 for a circulated example, while uncirculated examples tend to trade between $50 and upwards of $200. Now we are going to take a look at the 1992 and the 1992 Denver Mint Close AM varieties. We're going to take a look at both the 1992 and the 1992D, which is the Denver Mint Close AM varieties. Both the 1992 and the 1992 Denver Mint, all of them should feature a wide AM on the reverse. In America, the A and M should be wide. Now, some of them were struck using the Close AM reverse style. Now, there are only a handful of each of these that are known, and if you happen to find one, estimated values on them in any grade is anywhere between $4,000 and upwards of $10,000, and some of them have sold for much more in nice high grade and circulated examples. Now we are taking a look at the 1994 double die reverse. This is the 1994 double die reverse, listed as DDR-001. This is one of the most popular doubled column varieties. There are actually quite a few double die reverse varieties that are more minor for the Lincoln Cent series that feature double columns, but this is the most popular one that features the doubled columns. Now, if you happen to find one of these, circulated examples tend to trade between $10 and $30, while uncirculated examples tend to trade between $40 and $100. Now we are moving on to the 1995 double die adverse. This is the 1995 double die adverse, listed as DDO-001. Now this is a very, very popular double die. This is a very strong double die. So basically you can see it really strong on Liberty, and you can see it on In, God, and We, but the word trust barely has any doubling, and you're not going to find any of it on the date at all. This one, the doubling is strongest on the left side of the coin. Now this is a really popular double die, and there are quite a few examples, and that keeps the price nice and low. So if you happen to find one of these, circulated examples tend to trade between $2 and $8, while uncirculated examples tend to trade between $10 and $60, and much more so for really nice high-grade examples. Now we are taking a look at the 1995 Denver Mint, the 1995D double die adverse. This one is listed as FS103. Now this is a beautiful double die, and doubling on this one can easily be seen on the motto, "In God We Trust," and on the date. Now doubling on this one can also be seen on the mint mark as well. So you're looking at the date, the mint mark, and "In God We Trust." Now, if you happen to find one of these, circulated examples tend to trade between $30 and $60, while uncirculated examples tend to trade between $70 and $175, while nicer, higher graded examples tend to trade for a lot more. Now we are taking a look at the 1997 double die adverse. This is the 1997 DDO-001. Now this double die is also a doubled ear variety. This is another very popular doubled ear variety. Now this one, doubling can be seen on the ear and on the top curl on the ear, and on some of the curls and a few other areas on the coin, but pretty much the main spot that you are looking at is the ear itself. Now, if you happen to find one of these, circulated examples tend to trade between $20 and $75, while uncirculated examples tend to trade for $80 up to $120, and much more so for much nicer, higher graded examples. Now we are taking a look at the 1998, 1999, and 2000 wide AM varieties. On all three of these dates, the 1998, the 1999, and 2000, all of them should have been struck using the close AM reverse style. The wide AM reverse style was intended to be used only for proof coins in those years. Well, some of the business struck coins were accidentally struck using that reverse proof style, giving you this wonderful variety. Now, the 1998 and the 2000 are much more common than the 1999. Now, in 1998 wide AM, they typically trade between $1 and $3 for circulated examples, while uncirculated examples tend to trade between $5 and $15. Now, the 1999 wide AM, circulated examples on that one tend to trade between $20 and $60, while uncirculated examples tend to trade between $80 and $200. Now, the 2000 wide AM, circulated examples on that one tend to trade between $3 and $5, while uncirculated examples tend to trade between $7 and $25. Now we are taking a look at 2009 formative years Lincoln cent. This is the 2009 formative years. Now there are a whole lot of different double die reverses for this year. There are a ton of them, and most of them feature either a doubled thumb or an extra finger. So you do want to be looking for these double thumb varieties. You can easily and readily find these. Most of them are typically around the same price range. A few of them, the type 1, 2, and 3, typically do fetch more, but the rest of them all typically fetch around the same amount. So if you do find one of these double thumb varieties, they typically trade between $1 and $5 for circulated examples, while uncirculated examples can trade between $5 and $50, all depending on the grade. And the last one that we are going to take a look at on my quick list, and these are the ones that I like to just pull out right away and search, is going to be the 2015 WDDO-006. This is a double die adverse 2015 Lincoln cent. This one is listed as WDDO-006. Now there are a bunch of different double dies for 2015, but this is by far one of the strongest. So this is a very bold double die. Now doubling on this one can easily be seen on the date. You can see some nice line separation on the date and on the word liberty. It's a little bit more minor in the motto, but it can still be seen in God We Trust. Now, if you happen to find one of these, circulated examples tend to trade between $1 upwards of $10, while uncirculated examples tend to trade between $10 and $30. Now, do keep in mind, there are a lot of other varieties that I didn't even get into or even begin to touch. For just about most of the years with Lincoln cents, there are known double dies and known varieties. So if you would like to go look up various varieties, I can suggest some websites such as coppercoins.com, doubledie.com, or varietyvista.com. All three of those websites are excellent reference sites to use to look up the different varieties with your modern Lincoln cents. Well, we definitely hope you enjoyed this video. We hope it opened your eyes for some of the things to be looking for. I know these are the things that I personally enjoy searching for and the ones that I absolutely want to find. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor and give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment as well. The more interaction you have with the video, the more it encourages YouTube to share our content with more and more people. Also, by subscribing. If you are not subscribed yet, hurry up and hit that subscribe button. We have a ton of content that we are always bringing you on error and variety coins with the United States coinage. Well, everyone, have fun, keep searching, and I'll see you in the next one.